Join us as we dive into the hilarious world of cars with the quirkiest stories. From forgotten purchases to epic crashes, these 8 cars will leave you in stitches. Number 1. The Quadricycle Tale. Let's take a time machine back to 1896 and visit the backyard of the budding engineer Henry Ford. You see, our man Henry was brewing something incredible, something that was going to revolutionize the world. His first ever car, dubbed the quadricycle. Now, keep in mind, Ford would eventually skyrocket to become one of the wealthiest and most influential businessmen ever. But this time, well, let's just say he missed the mark by a couple of inches. Here's the gag. When Ford had screwed in the last bolt on the quadricycle, he found himself staring at a rather hilarious problem. His shiny new contraption was too big to squeeze through his workshop door. Imagine, the soon-to-be car magnate had overlooked the dimension of the door. So, what's an inventor to do? Well, Ford grabbed an axe, mustered up his muscle power, and proceeded to hack away at the door frame and surrounding bricks. After a bit of sweat and probably a few choice words, he widened the opening enough to wheel his mechanical baby out. And thus, with a comically modified doorway, the quadricycle took its first ever spin around the block. Number 2. The LOOF Loop. Now, let's jump ahead a few decades to 1953 to a Formula 1 racetrack in Germany. Enter stage right, Ernst LOOF. This guy was an ace car and bike designer, but his racing career? Well, it's best described as a short story, and we mean super short. LOOF's one and only F1 gig was the 1953 German Grand Prix at the famous Nürburgring. He was revving up in a slick Veritas car, a beast he had a hand in designing. With the roar of engines all around, LOOF was ready to put the pedal to the metal and show the world what he was made of. But as the flag dropped and all of the cars rolled off, LOOF's dream machine sputtered out after just 6 feet. You heard it right, a measly 2 meters. An unfortunate fuel pump failure abruptly ended his race, scoring him zilch on the points tally. And with that rather unfortunate hiccup, LOOF became a part of the F1 history books, not for his racing prowess, but for having the shortest and arguably most comical Formula 1 career ever. Number 3. Haroon's Marmon Wasp. Now, let's set the scene. The Indy 500 race of 1911. A scene packed with 40 roaring automobiles ready to speed off at the drop of a flag. An interesting tidbit about this time was that it was customary for each driver to have a sidekick, an observer whose primary job was to holler whenever another car was sneaking up behind them. However, one cheeky chap decided to shake things up a bit. Enter Henry Haroon, a daredevil who is determined to rewrite the rulebook. Haroon had cooked up his own bright yellow speed machine and made the audacious decision to fly solo. Yep, no observer, just Ray, his Marmon Wasp, and a rather nifty innovation. Well, he didn't have much of an option because the car was a single-seater by default. Our maverick Ray decided to affix an 8x3-inch mirror to his dashboard, essentially serving as his very own eye in the back of his head. This clever piece of kit is believed to be the debut of the rear-view mirror. With no extra weight, a 6-cylinder engine, and better aerodynamics, Ray's yellow racer had the upper hand, and boy, did it pay off. Haroon beat the pack by more than a half a mile, cruising his way into automotive history. Before we move ahead, don't forget to smash the subscribe button and turn on the notification for more videos like this. Number 4. The Pioneer's Epic Journey. Next, let's rewind to the days of horseless carriages and bowler hats. Meet Elwood Haynes, a dapper businessman and inventor who left one of his early customers absolutely gobsmacked. What did he do? Well, he personally delivered his invention in 1898, and back then, there was no Uber. And here's the kicker. He didn't just drop it off at the end of the street. Elwood drove his no-frills, open-top Marvel from his Indiana workshop all the way to his well-heeled client's digs in New York City. This wasn't just a casual Sunday drive. It was the first ever 1,000-mile car journey completed in the United States, and it didn't take that long, just over a month. Yeah, he did have some ambition, didn't he? The car, dubbed the Pioneer, later earned a place in the Smithsonian Museum and was even featured on a U.S. postage stamp in 1995. Talk about going the extra mile. Number 5. Gallagher's Forgotten Gem. Picture this. You're chilling at home when out of the blue, a delivery truck pulls up with a gleaming 1967 Jaguar Mark II. Now, that's not an everyday occurrence, is it? Well, that's exactly what happened to rock legend and Oasis guitarist Noel Gallagher. It appears that Mr. Gallagher, in a moment of spontaneous extravagance, splashed out 110,000 pounds on this classic beauty 2 years earlier, only to completely forget about it. We mean, who hasn't misplaced their car keys? But a whole car? Maybe that's what you do when you are filthy rich. While this pristine Jag was being restored with tender, loving care by a team of specialists, our rock star had made grand plans to learn how to drive. But as fate would have it, life got in the way, and those plans were never put into practice. Consequently, the Jag that he forgot he bought still sits untouched in his garage. Number 6. BLITZEN BENZ Wild Ride. Now, buckle up for a wild tale from 1924. Our main character? The dashing and daring Captain John Duff, a gentleman racer with a taste for adrenaline. The scene is set at the Brooklands, where Duff is locked in a ferocious 100-mile duel with a rival. But this isn't just any car race. Oh no, our man Duff is behind the wheel of a monstrous BLITZEN BENZ boasting a whopping 21-liter engine. As the race concludes, Duff doesn't just lose the duel, he loses his brakes too. With his speedometer reading over 100 miles per hour and no way to slow down, Duff is in a pickle. But like any swashbuckling hero, he doesn't panic. He keeps steering, though he ends up off the track, over embankments, and through trees, all in a desperate bid to lose speed. His Benz finally grinds to a halt far from the racetrack, courtesy of a telegraph pole. Thankfully, Duff walks away unhurt, not just with a crazy story to tell, but with a new career path too. He later went on to become a Hollywood stunt double for the actor Gary Cooper. Bet that telegraph pole was just a warm-up for him. Number 7. Wienermobile's Whistle Stop Tour. Let's talk about a vehicle that really cuts the mustard, the Wienermobile. It's not your average road hog. Since its birth in 1936, this hot dog on wheels has undergone quite a glow-up. Today's Wienermobile is a mammoth of a machine, standing 11 feet tall and stretching 27 feet long. And it's not just about the size, it's packed with modern tech like voice-activated GPS, a snazzy audio center, and a horn that plays the oh-so-catchy Wiener jingle. It's a rolling party. Now, who's behind the wheel of this beefy behemoth, you ask? Well, Oscar Mayer recruits a select group of recent college grads each year, lovingly dubbed the Hot Doggers. These lucky dogs get to hit the road for a year, zigzagging across the country, spreading joy and promoting Oscar Mayer's Franks. But wait, there's more! In 2023, to celebrate National Hot Dog Day and their switch to a no-nonsense, no artificial preservatives or byproducts recipe, Oscar Mayer decided to give the Wienermobile a new leash on life, rebranding it as the Frankmobile. Number 8. Childhood Dream on Wheels. Next up, let's shift gears and marvel at the magical creation of Jeff Block, also known as Speedy Cop. Block, a police officer by day, car enthusiast by, well, all the time, has a knack for turning the mundane into the extraordinary. His piece de resistance? A car he dreamed up when he was just 6 years old. Fueled by a desire to bring his first-grade doodle to life, Block toiled in his backyard for 18 years, investing a cool $75,000 into his labor of love. The result? A mismatch of parts from a 1976 Mazda pickup truck, a 1991 Ford Thunderbird, a 1993 Ford Festiva, and a 2000 Chevy Camaro. Yet this Frankenstein of a vehicle is no slowpoke. With a V8 engine under the hood, it can hit top speeds of 160 miles per hour. This zany creation, affectionately nicknamed the Spirit of Le Mans, is a cheeky nod to the prestigious 24 Hours of Le Mans endurance race. Block's vehicle has graced the circuits of several races and events, including its namesake, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the Gambler 500, and the Concours of de Le Mans. Block takes pride in the double takes and drop jaws his car inspires. And who wouldn't? After all, he's living his 6-year-old self's dream. Which one of these made you laugh out loud? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our future content.